Got it. Perfect.
Take two. Ruin everything.
Hey guys.
Ow.
Anyway, yeah. This is podcast number 1. So, hey, ready?
There we go.
It's a check. Do what you do. Do what you do. This is Warren. My name's Jason. It's Tiffany.
Hi.
This is a fun thing. We were out at the mall today to get our hair did. She got a nice haircut and everything. And I happened to see.
Got that blowout.
Yeah.
I happened to see that Suncoast Video still exists.
What's that?
It is a. That's right. Well, if you haven't, we'll go right now. Warren is not from here.
No, I'm from another planet.
I know he's got like that New York thing going on, but
It's like, are you from Boston? No. It doesn't matter.
I'm not from Boston.
No. But Suncoast Video was I remember seeing a whole bunch of them like pop up in malls and stuff like that. Basically, Suncoast Video was a store, like it was before FYE, basically, almost. Whereas before, like, all the movies and vinyl and music stuff got integrated and you could just buy it anywhere. It was one of the last, like, you can come here and buy just movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, memorabilia, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's like back. I don't know if anyone else from my world will listen to this, but like it's like a HMV or like something like it sells like that's where you would go before like MP3.
Yeah.
You'd go there to buy your music and shit, right? Like
Yeah, you would go there to buy your
movies.
movies and everything.
it's like a Blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of it grew out of like
Back when that was still a thing.
Everyone was without late fees, and I mean it'd be kind of weird if you went in there like you watched a movie for 7 days and just brought it back, and at first they were like, oh, this guy's just returned this movie, and then you consistently did that. Like it was just you were like a pseudo, like you were just stuck somewhere, and it's like, let me live, please.
I feel like that would be a fun vlog.
You're doing
just to
like
do
trying
stuff
to
like that,
relive the childhood blockbusters.
Please just let me relive
that there's
Blockbuster.
money in Blockbuster.
Yeah.
There is.
I still think that too.
Because I love Blockbuster. It was like my favorite place to, as a kid. Like going to the movies is great, but going to Blockbuster is better.
I agree.
There's shit from like years ago, and like new shit too. But usually I'd be in like.
It was a great way to sort of expose yourself to those old movies.
To the public.
And that would, you publicly expose yourself in most cases. And actually, well, no, the cool thing about the old video stores, of getting, speaking about exposing yourself in public.
Yep.
Great segue, Warren. I enjoyed that immensely. There used to be a video store near us here. We're in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. There used to be a place when I was really, really young called Bob's Video Vibes. That's what it was called. And he had an independent film section. And
that's cool.
Like if you had like now it had to be published and stuff like that. But if you're a filmmaker and you did like this short release, maybe it went to Cannes, maybe it went to some kind of film festival, and it was published somehow from like any kind of little tiny podunk production company. You could go to Bob, the guy who owned Video Vibes, and say, I want this in your store, and he would put it in there. Because like that kind of culture existed then.
Yeah, but like now
it was like YouTube before YouTube.
Yeah, but like now YouTube like is where all the independent people are putting their movies. But like you'd probably get more exposure from doing it in like a Blockbuster type setting because more people in your close area are gonna be like who are interested in that or going to school for that and like I'll watch some of this and see what it's like.
Exactly, and I think it would.
YouTube's more like you stumble upon things nowadays, whereas before,
There's people who spend like a lot of time and effort on like short movies on YouTube, but like when I'm scrolling YouTube, like I'm not interested. Like
it's just a window. Like imagine if that thing had like a cover
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even if it was the shittiest art in the world,
Yeah.
like, it had a cover and a synopsis on the back instead of a little blurb.
Yeah.
140 characters or
But
less.
that's a night in. Like, you'd go there with your friend and be like, we're just gonna grab 5 movies from here,
Yeah.
a pack of beers, and we're gonna watch all of it. Like, a mission. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas with YouTube, it's like, I could watch this, or I could go to, like, Netflix and
Yeah.
watch an actual movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
I think the fact that everything's more accessible now, more easily accessible now, has kind of ruined it for independent people.
They take it for granted. And,
Yeah.
like, especially on YouTube, like, if... Like, because some of those guys who have, like, started out making, like, their own fan films,
Yeah.
like, it just isn't as impressive on, like, a browser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, 'cause you've
It's
just
not.
watched something else. Like, if you're on YouTube, you've watched a ton of videos already, and you go to that, and you'll watch, like, a couple seconds and skip.
Yeah,
Like,
you get eye
And by the
fatigue.
time you get to the last video you're watching for the night, you have no idea what the first 5 were even about.
and some of the YouTube fame people, like, again, like, probably not a good way to open, like, hating on people, but, like, they're pretty intolerable. Like,
There's a good, and I will say I've spent probably days of my life at this point since YouTube has come out watching videos that are of great substance but horribly done.
yeah.
Like, you're watching people, like, screw something in real time, and you're like, I can't, like, what are you doing? So you
Yeah.
skip ahead, and there's this whole, like, skip ahead culture. Like, you can, if you
Exactly.
are sick of seeing something in a movie and you want to see what it's about,
That's...
you could just scroll the bar to the middle of the movie. Like, that.
That is exactly it. That is why, if you want to ever make anything that is important and people need to watch it all, VHS needs to come back. Because
Yeah.
you have to deal with them fucking lines on the screen as you fast forward, and then you fuck up and pause too soon, or like...
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
It's a lot
that
harder
is-
to just nonchalantly skip through the movie
That's
if there's
precisely-
more work involved in it.
That's precisely the
People
point
don't even want
I
to get
wanted
off
to
the
make.
couch to change the channel anymore, let alone go mess with the VCR.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if you had something really important to say, like...
Put it on VHS.
Yes, exactly.
Done.
That's precisely the point I was trying to make, and the subject of the podcast was, I feel like those stores are so few, and they still exist because of DVD and Blu-rays and stuff like that, and that is always going to be part of the culture. I don't think we're ever going to go completely entirely
Isn't it?
digital,
No.
because the owning of the thing is still, like, there's
Important,
still
yeah.
utility in that, still marginal utility in going somewhere and buying a DVD.
The saddest thing though is that, like, the DVDs that I own, I've probably watched, like, when I used to rent them, like, there was movies that I would rent over and over again. Like, I would take it back, and then 3 weeks later, you know, three weeks later, I can't speak, you take it back home and you watch it again, and then, like, 3 months later you come back and you rent it again, and it's like one of them movies. But when you own it,
You never watch
you
it.
never ever watch it.
That's
That's what you're doing. Like, when you
Yeah.
buy your favorite film, you're basically saying to yourself, I'm never gonna watch this ever again.
Exactly.
Like, that's
Yeah,
what
like
it
when
is.
I was
It's like a
little-
That's a great. That's
When
a
I was
fantastic
younger
point.
and we would go to like Blockbuster, we'd go there every weekend and get a bunch of
It
movies.
was a thing.
Matilda. I used to rent Matilda all the time, and I never got tired of it. And then I bought it when it finally came out on DVD, and I've probably watched it 3 times since then
Exactly.
in like 6 years.
I just want to break real
It's
quick.
that-
Can you put this back on for a minute?
Nobody wants to see my face right
No,
now.
I just want to see.
I went there.
Yeah, of course. That's great.
With the red hair sticking out, is it good?
That's perfect.
It was good.
I wish the whole entire. This is a project that we're working on right now. For those who cannot
Sure is.
see this, she's wearing a helmet based off of the Hedge Knights armor.
Yeah.
From it's a George R. R. Martin, early before Game of Thrones
It is.
type deal.
So Duncan the Tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give us some backstory.
Okay.
Oh, Sage of the North.
Yeah. Right. So, I didn't really like
You can take it off now.
everyone telling me to watch Game of Thrones at first. It was kind of like the Breaking Bad thing.
Right.
You know, like the whole fucking everyone you know, every person you come into contact with working, need to watch this. And I hate people telling me what to do.
Yeah.
So I just purposely did
Like,
not watch it.
Screw you.
I just avoided it. Like
Not doing it.
I had, like, at that point, with streaming and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
there's no excuse. Like, I could watch, like, every fucking season that existed of this
Yeah.
right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I
But
don't feel like it.
No, not happening. I actually was watching The Walking Dead when we first moved here,
Mm-hmm.
the last season.
Season 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched season 6 because the place we were staying in had cable. So I watched that. And then when we moved in, there was 2 moving guys moving all our stuff in. And there was one guy who I was talking with for a bit, and then I brung up Walking Dead because I'd been watching it. And he was like, oh yeah, like, they're my favorite actors. He was like, that's why I brung up, like, you're from England, like, all those guys are from England but play American
It's
people.
weird.
It is weird. It is really weird. But, like, he
You never
was...
see the opposite of that.
Like,
No.
try,
Except
like,
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, fucking Andrew Garfield. No, he is from England. Yeah, fuck
Yeah?
Yeah,
Never mind.
Andrew Garfield.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's scrap that. So,
Rewind.
basically, this is the one thing, you know, you have those little scenes of your life saved in your head where, like, I really regret that. Well, I talked with the mover guy. I was like, do you think Glenn's alive? I knew he was alive. The way it was filmed, I was like, he's alive. But I was like, let's hear this guy. I want to hear what he thinks.
What his reasoning?
He was like, Glenn's dead. No
This
fucking
is
question.
yeah,
at
this is
point.
when you the dumpster.
Is it?
When that guy
he looks
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
getting
kills
torn
himself
apart.
in his body,
yes.
yeah.
I was
Okay.
like me in a dumpster. I was like, I don't.
Spoiler alert!
No,
if you haven't seen that
I
yet.
was like, I
I
don't.
feel like if someone's watching this that has not seen the season opener for Abraham and Glenn die. There we go. It's
Yeah.
done. We can continue talking.
Yes.
Negan is a horrible human being. We're done.
He's
Okay?
brilliant though.
Yeah, I mean,
He's-
I love him as an actor so much, but I hate his character with a passion.
But that's what's so brilliant about his character though, is like a villain that you legitimately hate.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's
Especially
a good villain. There's
Especially
very few of
seeing
them.
him in so many movies and loving him as like an actor.
He was my favorite.
And then being able to
Watchmen.
hate him so much.
Watchmen got shit on so much, and that's like one movie that I've never bought on DVD for the sheer purpose that I have an excuse whenever it comes on.
Yes.
No matter what the missus says, I'm watching.
We're watching
the
Because
fucking
I don't
Watchmen.
own it.
Yeah, exactly. Right? She can't say anything. She can't be like, "You own that shit." The missus instantly interjects. You have that on DVD. You can watch that whenever you want. I'm not gonna watch it on DVD.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna go and take the fucking disc out and put it in this machine to play shit when I have the internet that can do everything.
And I love
Yeah.
the culture, the big box company culture. These huge entities like Samsung and Sony. Nothing against them because I own a lot of their products.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love them. But the fact that they've integrated streaming technology into their Blu-ray players and completely nullified
Yes.
the Blu-ray player instantly.
And isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because think of like,
You can stream in 4K
Do you remember-
directly over
You just
Wi-Fi.
made your
right
own
now.
product
do you ever
obsolete
remember the
almost.
fucking when you would rent again? Because I didn't used to have a whole lot of VHSs, so I'd rent a lot of them.
Mhm.
That fucking DVD advert. Do you remember that? Or commercial?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Commercials. At the
No,
beginning, where it
use
was
your
like-
jargon, bro.
Where it
Yeah.
was like DVD, and it would play like the scenes from Die Hard because it was like one of the first fucking things on
It's the
DVD.
first DVD
Yeah.
that I ever bought.
Yeah, and it was just like showed all the action scenes, like experience this in panoramic fucking widescreen and shit. And I'm just like, I'm watching it on a TV this big,
Yeah.
and it's just like,
And you're just like, I'm not impressed.
and I was like, no, the advert is fucking amazing, but they never did the advert on DVD. That was the mistake because that's why I like watching fucking VHSs because
Yeah.
the advert was fucking incredible.
Mhm.
But anyway, the moving guy. So that we're in there. I'm talking to the guy about Walking Dead. I say to him, "Glenn dead. Glenn's dead. He isn't dead, but he thinks he is." The other guy, right, who's moving with him. I think he was from Boston or something. I sensed a bit of
A vibe.
home turf there.
Yeah.
He sounded a bit Irish or something. I was like, here we go. He's like, they don't like me, but we're closer, like, in body. So I was like, all right, what have you got to say? And he was like, oh, did you guys watch the finale to Game of Thrones? And we, all three of us, shut the kid down like this, like,
No.
no
Talk
one-
about Walking Dead right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we moved here, we got cable. We don't have it anymore, but like we had it for a short time, and HBO has the whole thing of Game of Thrones. You can watch like all of them.
Yeah.
And this was like when season 5 or season 6. I can't remember what season it is.
I didn't do Game of Thrones.
But
from the
I didn't
beginning.
either.
The thing is like I sat there and I was like, we're looking for something to watch. We need to binge something. Walking Dead's done. Game of Thrones. Everyone's talking about it. I watched like half an episode on the plane over here. I had no fucking context of what was happening, so it didn't.
It was just
Let me-
wieners and boobs too.
Yeah, and dwarves and stuff.
And dwarves and dragons.
Or little people sounds more demeaning than dwarves. So like I'm just gonna use dwarves because little
use
people sounds horrible.
the medical vernacular instead of. Yeah.
There you go. So I started watching. I started to watch Game of Thrones. We put the first episode on. It lasted 2 minutes, and the missus gave me the look, and I was like, "This isn't gonna happen right now."
Later.
So I turned it off. And when I came home from work the next day, I was working at PetSmart, and I came home like after like early morning, and I was like, "She isn't gonna be in for a while. I can't watch one of our shows because then I gotta get it in the ear that I've watched like an episode without her."
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'll fucking finish that episode of Game of Thrones. We're never gonna watch it again. I watched about 9 episodes before she came home, and was just fucking hooked. Like, just really like the story, not like. And I'm not a guy who's interested in politics all that much, but like when you get to see it from all angles like that,
Yeah.
like it's really well done.
You can't say anything about the way George R.R. Martin wrote those books and how they've been adapted to the series.
Well, that's the thing. Is like the book. Like everyone was going crazy. Like, oh, it's just boobs and dragons, and wieners and stuff. And I was like, oh, is this HBO? I read some of the books after watching the first season. HBO did it lightly because there's
Yeah.
like 3 pages of like Tyrion. I'm sure you've all seen
Yeah.
the short fellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a chapter in the book where it's like, I think it was like a Clash of Kings, possibly. And it's him with Shay, who is like some girl who used to work in a brothel, I think. And he's like fallen in love with her. He's like a high, noble birth type guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's,
Not supposed to like her.
you know, there's lots of sex scenes in the TV show, and I'm the same with like movies when they have that scene. It's like, I understand that this is making you guys a lot of money, but like I was like, this is HBO. I'm reading the book. There's like 3 pages, and it's like it's going on like Tyrion has this like huge conversation with Shay about like, you can't be here because if people see you, then they'll connect you to me, and it's like kind of like the Spider-Man dilemma. Like if people know that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
That you're here with me.
I love you, but I can't love you. Like, that kind of thing. And he was like...
Forbidden love.
Exactly. The best kind, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, in the book, and then it's like, and then Tyrion pulled out his cock. And I was just like, here we go. Right?
It's about to go down.
And then
It's
he
about
goes into
to
like
go
explicit
down.
detail. And I was like, okay. But then, yeah, I didn't read the books. I want to get the books of the Hedge Knight. I heard the audiobook. Really good. Just a really good universe that he's created. They're really cool. Lots of stuff like this. That, like, I feel like that's more like of a... I don't know, like... It's not like mainstream shit. You know, like it's very like a tangent off and like...
It's
I
not
just
the
really
knights
like
in
the
shining
story.
armor from King
And-
Arthur or
Yeah.
anything like that. Or
It's its own thing.
yeah.
And not a whole lot of people know about it.
Yeah, that's it. And like, of course,
Hidden gem kind
it
of
started
thing.
off with the whole predator thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we wanted to do like a big predator training a young predator
Yes.
because of the
The size
the immense size.
You'll see the difference between Warren and I eventually.
If we ever stand.
like, yeah, we ever stand.
Fridge, normal human being.
No, like bigger than that fridge, like
Yeah,
taller
I
than
am.
that fridge.
I am larger than the fridge that
And
we have.
smaller
in the house.
than your, probably like just like a head taller than where your microwave stands. Like, so a pretty big difference. And so that was it, right? The Predator thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I started listening to the audiobook and I was like, fuck that. because Predator costume's gonna be like a hell of a mess for us to make.
Especially like us being the fledgling makers that we were at the time, and still are in most cases. Like, it was far easier for us to adapt something like this, which would be really, really cool to make and to figure into problem solve, because there's no templates for anything like that. You can literally go online and get anything.
We learned shit while making it, because I didn't even know what this shit was called. Like, we had pictures from the graphic novel.
And we were like, not done yet.
Yeah, and we were like, the fucking helmet alone, we were like, it looks weird. And then we did some research, found out it's a fucking stretch helm, a jousting helmet. Makes sense with the narrative, I guess.
I love that when he was fighting, there was like 3 or 4 other knights, and they were the knights of nobility and everything. And if you don't know the story, brief synopsis is Duncan was
it's a Knight's Tale.
Apprentice. It's a Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
Watch it if you're curious of what the Hedge Knight is.
It's similar.
Watch a Knight's Tale, preferably with the sound off, so you don't get the new soundtrack that they put on that. But
what's the new one?
It's the soundtrack that they have for that's all modern music.
Oh yeah,
like when they're dancing.
And stuff.
In which Queen. You could put Queen over anything. I mean, I'm actually thinking about overdubbing some Queen on the podcast.
Yeah.
But
we don't have the money for that.
We don't have the money. No.
Maybe royalties you could play the drums.
Copyright.
I could like maybe do some of that, but it's basically he comes from no nobility whatsoever, and instead of getting a suit of armor made for him, he takes the jousting suit of armor that he was a squire to a knight, and he takes this armor and he uses it for what it's 100% not to used for in some cases.
Yeah.
And he is not in the book, or ever in the stuff that I've read, ever goes away from the brutal side of the fighting that he learned in the streets.
Exactly, because he was like in Game of Thrones, that is like not the ghetto, it's like Flea Bottom in like in King's Landing, which is like where the king and queen shit are. Like, it's like the richest place, but it also has like the worst sort of poverty there. So he grew up in the worst place. So like, that scene is the
I forget what they said.
It's like the Trial by 7, and it's something like he's fighting like princes and like king's guards who are like all like
expertly trained.
Yeah.
And
trained
he's just
the gentlemanly art of fighting.
Exactly.
It's just some kid off the street.
Exactly, and it gets to a point where his fighting skill fails him, and he is like, but then he remembers how he used to fight with the kids in Flea Bottom, and he using his size to his advantage and being brutal and being like
fighting
just
dirty.
a beast. Yeah, like not so much dirty, but actually fighting instead of like sword art and shit like that.
The one picture in the graphic novel, I think at the end it's just a blurb on the bottom like, these knights never fought like this or something like that. They never do. They never do the style. They never do the fights of Flea Bottom or something.
I think it's like,
and it's just Duncan yoking this guy up off the ground.
It's like princes. It's something like princes don't know.
Yeah, princes don't fight like this.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, the camera's still on.
Yeah, it's a really fucking good story. Like, it's more than a Knight's Tale. I don't want to like sum up to that, because I tried to describe it to some people in work as well, and when I mentioned the parallel of that, they lost interest. But I was like, it goes so much further than that. And if you're into Game of Thrones already, there's a lot of like little nod of
there's a lot of intersect, like a lot of the story, I think a lot of the eventual story in Game of Thrones intersects with
because
the starting story in the Hedge Knight.
It's because if you watch Game of Thrones, like you already have like what you don't. Like some stories you do, but like it's one of those rare stories where you have knowledge that no one in that story has, and that's like the squire who comes to like Duncan the Tall is some guy who calls himself Egg, like this small boy, and he's actually like 5th in line. He's like a Targaryen who's like the royalty at the time, and he's like 5th in line. He's like the 5th heir, so no one cares about him because he's never going to sit the throne. But it turns out, like we know from Game of Thrones, that he did sit the throne.
Yeah.
Because terrible shit happened, and he managed to sit the throne.
Occasionally it happens
Sir
that way,
Duncan
yeah.
the Tall over here, the hedge knight, you know, the brute with the beat up armor and all that shit, like eventually becomes the fucking head of the Kingsguard. Like he's the most noble knight in the fucking land. Like it is a good story.
And it all stems from our original point of finding the awesome in the stuff that isn't normally available to everyone.
Yeah.
Man, that is warm.
It's warm.